Hi, everyone. Welcome to What Works. This is a show for advisors that taps into over 1,000 years of experience shared by our consortium advisors. I'm your host, Don Patrick, and I'm here to guide the conversation with guest advisors and lift the hood on what works for them in business and life. It's all about learning and growing, so let's go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the IFG podcast, What Works? And our guest today is Daniel Lee of Karen Lane Associates in Atlanta, Georgia. Daniel, welcome.
Hey, Don. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your family, things of that nature. Kind of kick this off.
Sure. So I'm 33. I'm in my 9th year in the industry, 8th year as an advisor. Been with Karen Lee and Associates the whole time. My story there is that I graduated college and didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I got a job that taught me a lot about what I didn't want to do.
What was
And
that?
then
What was that job?
That was a entry-level operations job with a company that did direct mail and digital marketing for nonprofits.
Oh, interesting. So you learned you didn't
not
want
really
to be doing
that interesting. Yeah, it was a lot of just like stuff on spreadsheets and not a whole lot of relationship building. And while it felt good to be with a company that was serving a space that made me feel like they were having an impact, I didn't feel like I was having an impact.
Would you major in college? Where'd you go to college?
I went to the University of Tennessee, Go Vols, and I had a roundabout track through the business school, took a kind of a side track to get in-state tuition. If nobody knows about the academic common market, that needs to be a quiver in your college planning repertoire. And ultimately decided that I wanted to not be in school a whole lot longer and wanted to enjoy my time. So I graduated with a psychology degree.
Just like your mom.
Yeah, her unofficial psychology degree.
So you figured out what you didn't want to do, then what happened?
While I was in that job, I basically just had a period of time where I was back to the drawing board. I had gotten that job through our personal network. And for the first time, I started asking my mother more about what she did, because I kind of knew what she did, like in general, and I had seen some of the effects that it had in her life over time, but I really didn't know what all she did. So when I told her I was interested in exploring what she does, she said exactly that. You don't know what I do, and I don't want to spend the time to teach it to you at the moment. So why don't you go learn some about it? And that was how I got connected to the CFP class. It was in the CFP class where I had kind of my light bulb moment, so to speak. It just checked all the boxes for me on what a career could be. And so I consider myself very fortunate to have kind of lucked into figuring out what I wanted to do very early on.
So you enrolled in, what was that, Oglethorpe? Is that where you went?
It was actually through the Terry College of Business at Georgia. They have University of Georgia. They have a satellite campus here in Buckhead, Lenox area.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they have an actual CFP like program degree that they offer. So this was a capstone course, 5 areas of planning, and a case study at the end. All in all, takes I think a little over a year. But they made me a sweetheart deal where I could just pay for like the first module, which was the basics in insurance planning, and then decide from there if I wanted to sign up for the rest of it. Funny story, my first teacher in that class was Trent.
Trent Adams.
Yep, Trent Adams, and he was
That
great.
must have been enjoyable because he's funny as heck.
Yeah, I mean, I found the content extraordinarily interesting, so I wasn't falling asleep, but neither was anyone else. So he did a good job.
Yeah, he knows his stuff too, besides being funny.
Yeah.
So, before I continue on this track, any hobbies or outside interests that you have personally?
Did I mention before that I like the University of Tennessee?
It sort of came across, but I know there's a little bit of passion there.
When I was born at the baby factory, Northside Hospital, my grandmother drove down from Knoxville and had an orange UT onesie waiting when I came into the world. So I have
Are you?
always been a Tennessee fan, and I ended up going to college there, and I'm pretty passionate about that university and all things Tennessee sports. I realized a childhood dream 2 years ago and became a football season ticket holder.
Oh my
Um,
gosh! Wow.
Yep. So I spend a fair amount of my time consumed with all things Tennessee. Outside of that, I have a long term girlfriend, a dog that most people have seen at some point. I think when he was a puppy, I actually brought him into the office. And then outside of that, I really like to travel and enjoy live music.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah, I like
All
to
right.
say
So
that live music is like water for the soul.
that's a great way of describing it. Yeah. Nothing like live music. So, you enrolled in the CFP course, and then when were you allowed to join Karen Lean Associates?
And I was allowed to. Well, it's funny. I was interested in what she did, but I didn't actually want to work with her at first, and she didn't really want to work with me. Um, so the plan was figure out if you want to do this, and then figure out how you're going to get into the industry if you do want to do it. I always thought that I would come at it from maybe the wholesaling side.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
have someone teach me up, um, learn some important sales skills, uh, get exposure to advisors, um, and then at some point, maybe I'd end up working with Karen, who knows, because she's been looking for a succession plan for 15, 20 years.
Long time. It's
Third
hard to
time's a
do.
charm. Third time's a charm. But yeah, it was through that process of basically informational interviewing that a lot of people said, "Hey, Daniel, I'll get your resume in front of someone if you want, but you're a fool if you don't get your mother to hire you." And I think if enough people tell you something, you should probably listen. So after getting told no by a couple places that didn't want to hire me because they just assumed that I would leave in a couple years to go into the family business, and hearing enough people, rave about Karen's business, we had a conversation together and just figured out, well, if my path was going to eventually lead back to her business, why not start now? And what we know is, above all else, this is a relationship business. That would ultimately be the most important thing to me, being able to continue a standard of care that she had for her clients, and have them stay and be comfortable with it. So we said, let's do it. Worst comes to worst, I come out of it licensed and ready to go work somewhere else. And if it works out, it could be a really beautiful thing. And in hindsight, it's probably the best decision I've ever made.
So, mixing family and business is very sticky. What kind of rules did you guys come up with, and or were there any? With Karen, I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Um,
careful.
Yeah, we did come up with some stuff at the beginning on both sides. You get called honey in front of clients enough times, and then you're like, Daniel works or Karen works instead of mom. Um, but on the other side too, I mean, she was investing in me, and we do have a really good, close relationship. But anyone knows this with family, the closer you are, the more kind of stuff there can be between you. And it was really important that, one, we tried to keep the main thing, which was that me and my mother's relationship was always going to come before anything business. Two, when we're in the office, it's about business. And when we're out of the office, we don't talk about business. That
Chinese wall.
Yeah, that line gets blurred a little bit sometimes, but you try as best as you can. And then ultimately for our clients, it was having the same North Star. So coming in and having the same set of goals, like we're different people, we're going to do things differently. We're going to have different ways of interacting with clients, different ways of looking at technical things, but ultimately we're on the same team, and we want to provide a consistent service offering and relationship to our clients. So making sure that we had the same values in business, making sure that we had similar philosophies about how we would run the business and how we would offer our services to our clients. Beyond that, you can make things better and better, but we didn't want to reinvent the wheel for something that wasn't broken. In fact, I would say that Karen has built one of the more efficient and well-functioning advising practices I've come across. So it was things like that were really important to make sure we didn't get too caught up in changing things.
Well, having an aligned vision is critical to success. So that's huge. Karen is super sharp. As you said, she's built a great business. It runs very efficiently. And I know she's a good educator. So how did she train you? Was it just following her around? Was it more formal, some combination? What was that like?
Well, it's interesting.
So you've been with her, what, 8 years now?
Yeah, I'm in my ninth year.
9.
And Karen is all those things that you said. But also, Karen's not a natural manager, nor did she ever want to be. She's really good at managing herself. And you can see that across her career. She's been a high performer. So it was kind of new and something that we both had to figure out. As far as she knew, she was just going to train me the way that she was trained. But her business today is a lot different than the business that she came into.
Yeah, so she started out selling insurance.
Yeah. And
totally different.
There were a lot of things that I learned in that first year that were important. Maybe one of the most important things was just being told no, getting rejected, and becoming confident in how I presented myself and how I communicated the value of what we do to people. But it didn't ultimately work for what we needed for our business and for our clients. And it's not the way that I would suggest training a young advisor. In fact, if I had to do it and it was tied to my compensation, like keeping the lights on and putting food on the table, I would have washed out of this business. I would have been a statistic like so many others. So kudos to Karen for being able to survive in a male-dominated and commission-based role, 36, 37 years ago.
Yeah.
But ultimately, what we decided was after doing that and getting that experience, that really the best way for me to be taught the business was, one, to learn the ins and outs from an administrative and operational side. So, what most people would consider just earning your stripes and doing the grunt work and all that stuff, recognizing how the business actually operates, and then sitting in on meetings and getting live experience, seeing Karen at work, talking to clients, figuring out what it actually means to be an advisor, and not just financial planning training.
So you start off, which is the proper way, learning how to do paperwork. What's a Roth? What's a non-qualified? All the language, all the acronyms, which is that in itself. It's another language. It literally
Yeah.
is like learning another language, and that is, in my opinion, the best way to get started. You have to learn that stuff. And so then sitting in meetings is super valuable. I mean, just shadowing is so valuable. So when did you start learning how to put financial plans together and using all the technology and all those tools? Was that gradual, or was that a very focused effort?
It was pretty soon. I mean, within that, the first year for me was all training on the admin and operations, and then studying for license exams, and then ultimately learning those things too in order to be of support. But within a year to a year and a half, somewhere in there, I would say that by that time I knew how to do everything that was required from me, from a technical standpoint. And I was an advisor by that
So,
time.
you were like the second year?
Yeah.
Wow, that is fast track.
It was fast track. And again, I don't know that that's the best way to do it. Seeing other people excel in a slower track, especially at my age. I always joke that I use touch of gray in my beard to make myself appear older, because I got told a couple times, Daniel, you're 25. What do you know about my money that I don't know about my money? And that's a hard question to answer when you're 25. But I think that the right way to do this is there is a body of knowledge and experience that you need to really be an advisor, along with a skill set. And that stuff doesn't happen overnight. So even though I was a financial advisor in title in my second year, I don't know that I was prepared to be who the clients needed me to be.
Were you meeting clients one-on-one or with Karen at that second year?
I was not meeting her clients one-on-one, but I was meeting clients one-on-one. We did bring on some younger people as clients, just by way of nature, me and my network trying to get me experience. I was actually doing financial plans for free, because I would do it for anyone who would be committed to going through the process with me, knowing
That's great.
that alone is an ask.
That's great. And lowering the demographic of the age of the clients is always important too. So I'm going to do a quick deviation and get back on track. But my understanding is you are a master networker.
I try to be. My networking really came out of that needing to get experience talking to people, but also, if you've been to the IFG office, it looks a little bit different now, but when I came on 9 years ago, and this is before COVID, there weren't any young people in the office. There was
Mm-hmm.
Bryce. Bryce still had long hair, and he was still doing all the trades himself.
Yep.
That was about it. But I didn't have much of a natural community in the office. And being on a small team at the time, it was just Karen, Jessica, and myself. I wasn't getting the social interaction through work that most people would get. So I would say that my networking was twofold. One was, yeah, I needed experience getting out there talking to people, but also I have a personal need for human interaction that I really needed to figure out how to fill. And so I did a lot of networking.
So networking groups, events, where did you do your networking?
You name it. If it
Anything.
if it was something that I could go to, an event that I could either go to for free or convince Karen to pay for me to go to, or even just in my personal life. I was 25, so I was still unencumbered and flexible and energized and whatnot to go out and talk to anyone, anywhere. So my networking was, if I can be around people in any fashion, that's what I'm going to spend my time doing.
I love it. So you're at a networking event of some sort, and you're having a conversation with someone. Walk us through, or maybe role play just a little bit, how you have the conversation with them and how it might turn into a possible meeting or something down the road.
It's an interesting concept. I mean, don't be afraid to talk to people. First of all, like, everyone's just as afraid to talk to you as you are to talk to them, especially in an environment like networking where it's focused, meaning inevitably someone's going to want something from you, right? So everyone's kind of on edge. You just have to be willing to put yourself out there, like, be genuine, go talk to people, just introduce yourself. And you're not going to get to know everyone really well. And not every interaction that you have is going to turn into anything. So, I mean, I got 500 business cards when I first started. I still probably have
500.
Yeah,
That's
I still
impressive.
probably have half of them. And out of the ones that I gave to people, I bet you 99.9% of them ended up on the ground or in a trash can, so so don't put that much pressure on it. Just get to know people and know who you need to meet. And then when you meet them, be really intentional. Most people know this business is, just as much follow-up as it is anything else. But if you can be reliable and make it easy for other people and take a real interest in them, that's really all that it takes to start forging a relationship.
That's great advice. So, you're meeting with your clients individually, and then I assume you're meeting with Karen and her clients periodically.
Yes.
Are you meeting with any of her clients now? I think you are, correct?
Yeah. So we started a few years ago with transitioning some of her clients to me to be the lead on, to open up her time. And then we have a certain segment of her clients that we've actually identified each client, that we call forever clients for her. And so I'll always be in a support or co-advising role for those clients. But yeah, there's a lot of them. I probably have 80 clients that I'm the lead on. Jessica's now, in a short amount of time, probably 60 clients that she's lead on. And then Karen's got 50 that she's lead on. And we'd like to get that number down to 40 by next year, and then ultimately 25. with the idea that if she has a couple annual reviews uh, a month, and these are all financial planning clients, so it's not like she can bang out the reviews like just doing investment performance. But if we can get her down to just a couple reviews a month, then between that and the other work that she needs to do for those clients or for our business, we feel like we'll get her to a really good spot as far as her goal, which was to be able to continue to work for as long as possible while working as much or as little as she wanted at any given time.
Fantastic. That's a great goal. So do you guys present yourself as a team? In other words,
we do.
3 advisors now, correct?
Yeah, we do, and we're really intentional about that. When we have an introductory call with a prospect, all 3 of us advisors are on that call. So it's important from day one that they see us as a team, and we talk to them about how our team is cross-trained. We're not siloed. All the clients are clients of Karen Lee and Associates. So, someone might be the lead on a relationship, but it's not like I don't know who those people are, and any information that I need to get about their situation. If, say, Jessica or Karen was out of town and I'm the only one fielding calls, all that information is there, and all of our clients should feel comfortable talking to whoever gets on the phone with them.
That's great. That makes it really strong, sticky. So I think the way I'm going to ask this question, I want to understand some about your technology and things that you do and how you do the planning, how you present it. I guess I know most of your new clients come from referrals primarily. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So you've got introduced to someone, and then it sounds like you have an initial call with the 3 of you.
Yep.
And what is that conversation like?
So that's
how long do they last? It's a discovery? The very first call is a discovery?
It is. Because it's a discovery about not like their financial situation so much as like, are we a good fit?
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to work with us, and do we want to work with them? Both of those are equally important questions. So there's a little bit that's kind of scripted in the sense that we inevitably have an opportunity to tell them about us and who we are. But I like to spend some time at first just really asking questions, making them feel heard, and like this is a place where they can feel comfortable talking to us, asking questions, and getting down to the punchline, which is like, do we want to have another meeting after this? Do we want to talk after this? Do we want to try to work together?
So you've all agreed it was a mutual selection process. You agree to go forward. What happens next?
So we get a feel for them as a person. Are they a good fit? Are they not an a-hole, for lack of better terms? Do they value advice? Is that what they're actually there for? Can they be invested in their own success? Are they career oriented? Are they family oriented? All these things that lend themselves to planning, which is we lead with planning. We'll always be financial planners before anything else. And telling them about our process at that point, if they say, yes, we want to work with you, you're the people we've been looking for, or follow up with us in a week, we have someone else we're interviewing too, this, whatever that is, they know that the next thing is they're going to get some homework. Because we charge an upfront fee. It's kind of it's a financial planning fee that we never charge again. Really what it is a get in the door fee. So not only do you have to invest your time with us, you have to invest your money with us. you don't have to invest for the rest of your life with us, but you're going to invest in this financial planning process.
What's the fee range?
Our fee range is $2,000 to $5,000, and it's really just based on complexity. So that's what happens at that point is they get a list of everything we need from them, and based on what we get back, we have an idea of how complex the planning is going to be. Like, will we be able to present this financial plan to them in one meeting? Is there a lot of stuff after the fact that we're going to have to go through to execute the recommendations? How complex and multifaceted are all their goals and financial situations and accounts? We met with one guy who had 23 different accounts.
Oh my God.
So that wasn't complex in the sense that the planning itself was so complex, but just like the quantity of stuff there was to go through. So there's so many different things that could make a plan complex, and we most of the time are giving someone the plan for on the lower end of that range, because it's really not about the plan that is the big moneymaker, right? That's if you can present a plan and an experience that's really good for them, that they enjoy and convinces them that they want to work with you for forever. So we never want cost to be an obstacle to that.
How do you collect the documents? Electronically, or do they just bring a stack of paper in?
There are some clients who insist on coming to the office and bringing a shoebox full of paper. It's about one in all of them. And then most of it is electronic. We used to do it via secure email. Now we do it via secure upload. And we basically just give them the list of everything we need, tell them gather it all, don't piecemeal it to us. When you get it all together, let us know and get it back to us. And so the process itself really takes as long as they take.
So secure upload, I've never heard that before. Is that like Box?
Yeah.
Similar?
Yeah, so I've got now a little button in my email signature that says KLA secure upload, and it takes them to that Box site or whatever. I'm not super technologically proficient despite being a youngster, so to speak.
Well, it's a lot better than secure email.
Right.
It's a pain.
Yeah.
All right. So now you've gathered the data. What's the next meeting like? Is that more of a deep dive discovery meeting, or you're starting a plan? Okay.
And I do that meeting for right now. We revamped our onboarding process a few years ago when we became more of a team, and we were being really intentional about making sure that they got visibility and communication with every single one of us through the planning process. But we continue to revamp that. So currently I'm running all the fact-finding meetings, but we've toyed around with maybe it should be me or Jessica. Maybe I sit in on the ones she does and she sits in on the ones I do. So we're still bouncing around some ideas like that. But basically our discovery meeting is a few main objectives. One, we want to educate the client about everything that they have to the extent that they aren't already. We want to fill in any gaps, both on education or just things that they didn't get us that we need, or identify those things that we need more information about. We want to pre-close to an extent. So we're telling them what their options and alternative things are as we educate them. By the end of that meeting, they need to have a really good understanding of what they have. They need to not be surprised by anything that we're going to say in our planned presentation. And in an ideal world, they're almost all but bought in on those recommendations before we even give it to them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then the next meeting is the plan presentation.
The next meeting is the planned presentation, and that usually goes swimmingly. I mean, another thing that just naturally happens in the fact-finding meeting is you get to know each other really well, right?
Yep.
And part of just being conversational, comfortable, approachable, nothing's taboo, that all comes up, being curious and engaging. I have been rightfully accused of spending too much time with the clients and running very long meetings, but I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest. That's what I enjoy most. That's what I feel provides the most value. It's what really makes those relationships sticky. Is not the time, like the amount of time that I'm spending with them, but the quality of the time. And if you have really high quality time, it's very easy to spend lots of time with people.
It's very true. Very true. So what I understood is, so you're charging for the plan, and it sounds like they're not obligated to let you manage the money.
They are not.
So you have the plan presentation, and then that's the next step, I assume.
Yeah. They have a decision to make at that point, which is, do you want to continue this relationship? And that is the only way to do it. We're going to manage your money, and we're going to do financial planning with you as a part of that overall service on an ongoing basis. Or you paid to go through the financial planning process. You take your knowledge and everything with you, and best of luck to you.
Right. By the time they go through that process, I mean, what I've found historically, it's just stuff jumbled around their life, and now it's all been put together. They get the big picture, the experience, several meetings, deep dive, getting to understand us. I would bet that the majority actually say yes. I want to stay a client of yours and manage my money.
The majority say yes. We even get some converts, people who told us they absolutely would say no, and they had no intention of letting us manage the money, and then they end up going forward with us. But we always want to do what's in the best interest of the client, and it is their experience. So whatever relationship they want with us, it's worth it for us to go through the planning process with them so that they know who we are, how we operate, the quality of our work. It's made us referable. Sometimes I've even gotten a referral from someone who didn't move forward with us managing their money, but referred someone to us who ended up becoming a client. So you never know what's going to come out of that.
Yeah. So I'm an existing client. What does the cadence look like throughout the year with it? And you've got them segmented, so I assume different segments get different types of service.
Yes, we do have a client segmentation, and there is a service level based on that. I would say that it's not too much different, but really we have a good, I guess, like evenly distributed client base as far as our client segmentation goes. So we've got A, B, and C clients, and C clients are clients that we're just not really involved with. Maybe even they have like an old annuity, so we don't really have much of a relationship.
So they're
with
a
those
customer.
people. Yeah, exactly. And then we have B clients are typically less than $1 million in AUM or less than 10,000 in revenue. Many of those clients are not planning clients because not on our end. I mean, we want to do planning for as many people as possible, but some people just aren't super accessible in that manner. And we haven't chosen to get rid of those clients either, because they're profitable and they're easy to work with. They just don't get our full value.
Right.
But anyone who has the level that makes them an A client is getting full financial planning from us, more consistent communication. It's really just a higher touch, more sophisticated planning based relationship.
So is it an annual meeting, quarterly meetings, these progress review meetings? What is that like with an A client?
Everyone gets an annual meeting, even if we have to email it to them for compliance reasons. Everyone's going to get one. But we hammer that home when we first meet them. Setting expectations that holds us accountable, but also lets the client know, what our expectations are. And at the very least, we're doing a deep dive meeting with every one of our clients. With our A clients, depending on what their needs are, whether, if they're a business owner, that could change things. If they are, high or ultra high net worth, that could change things. If we're doing tax planning for them, that could change things. Really, as often as they need to meet with us is as often as we want to meet with them. And then a lot of our clients, the relationship has just been so deep and long standing that, we're friends with many of our clients, and we text our clients compliantly.
My rep chat?
Sure. But yeah, we have a close relationship with a lot of those people.
Great. So speaking of my rep chat technology, what kind of tools are you using? Sounds like you're using HolistaPlan.
Yeah, our tech stack is a mile long, I feel like. It's very overwhelming. I always said that I should have been born 30 years ago, and I relate that to like my music preferences, but I think that stands true in some other ways too. I'm completely overwhelmed by technology right now. So we're trying to add technology that raises the bar for us from a competency and what we can do. But at the same time, we're trying to reduce how much technology we have for simplicity. And technology, the thing about technology is it's supposed to make your life easier, usually.
In theory.
In theory. But it can have the exact opposite effect. So we're really focusing on how can we streamline our tech stack and reduce the headaches that we get from it. But I would say our core things that we use are Wealthbox, our CRM. We live in there. Wealth Vision or eMoney for planning. We use HolistaPlan for tax planning. We want to have a technology platform for estate planning. We haven't found quite the right fit yet. We use Jump for note taking, making compliance to-dos a little bit easier, things like that. And then we've got a handful or two of other technologies we use.
So what do you think you want to eliminate?
The
ones you shared with me are pretty basic and important.
Yeah, no, I don't want to eliminate any of the planning ones, but if I had, I think the better that technologies can integrate and do many of the same functions, I would consider those opportunities to eliminate.
Yeah, I mean, integration's been the holy grail since I've been in this profession. We're getting pretty close, and I think AI is going to solve that for us. I think we're getting real close to that.
I think so too. And yeah, it'll be interesting at some point if I feel like I'm unencumbered, because I do feel pretty encumbered by technology sometimes. I mean, on the simplest way, just like getting into stuff sometimes from a um, password or uh, functionality thing. You know, I have to reach out to Emerald for IT services on a more regular basis than I want to, not because
Yeah.
of them, like they're great, but it's just if it takes a half hour out of my day,
Yeah.
um, that's a
Shouldn't.
significant disruption.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Well, the one thing I found with Wealthbox is it's fully integrated with ClientWorks. You just click that little button, boom, ClientWorks opens up. You don't have to put a password in, and that's the way it should be.
We had Wealthbox for a year before I found that out.
But it's slick, and that's the way it's supposed to be. All
Yes.
tied in.
And Wealthbox is a beast in its own right. I mean, we were in love with Redtail when we had it. But Wealthbox really brings that kind of Apple-like user experience to your CRM, and the fact that it can be integrated with just about anything we use is
Yep,
really good too.
it is. Jump integrates with it. A lot of things do.
And I'm hearing that there's a lot of positive changes coming to ClientWork. So, um, well, I guess I've been hearing that since it was BranchNet, but
Actually, what's interesting when we have a new advisor join that's come from somewhere else, because you forget when you're in a day in and day out, and maybe there's a little hiccup and you get frustrated. They are enamored at ClientWorks. They just
yeah.
it's amazing to them. But yeah, so let's talk about the team a little more. So Jessica, she used to be kind of operations and all those kinds of things, and then I guess she decided she wanted to get licensed, become an advisor, and that sort of thing. And so, which is pretty amazing. I mean, she was very motivated. So she's been an advisor for what, a couple of years now, maybe
Yeah, I think 3 years now.
3 years.
Jessica is the glue on our team. She's whatever analogy you want to use. She's what greases our wheels. She's um, really got a work ethic unlike anyone else, a service minded mentality, self starter. She gets things done, and process oriented brain. I mean, all of that stuff. Uh, I'm not afraid to say that I think she's the most important person on our team, and we'd be lost without her. So if you ever find someone like that, um, who helps everything in your business go better, you do everything in your power to retain and elevate that person. And that's really been the story of Jessica's career.
That's amazing. Yeah, she is self-motivated. So you've got 3 advisors, Jessica, you, Karen, any other team members?
We have one full-time operations, Priscilla. We had a full-time client service gal, but she got offered a dream job that she thought the offer was never going to get made. So we lost her 2 months ago, which was unfortunate. She was kind of a hire that we thought would be the last hire we need to do for the next 5 years. And I had kind of crafted a vision for our practice where everyone was cross-trained and everything. And we had, we weren't at or over capacity on any part of our business. And she was the answer for that. So now we're kind of reorganizing and reassessing that model. We've started using the ASAP program, and I have a feeling that might change our perspective on whether the next person we hire needs to be full-time, or maybe even what exactly their functions need to be, but we're kind of taking the rest of this year to regroup there and figure out what that looks like. It's amazing how much we have spent of our time really just on the team ever since we became more of a team. It's as much of a focus as our clients. Our clients will always have our first, their number one priority, right? But outside of that, beyond any personal goals any of us have, it's the team.
That's great. That's the way it should be. So what's your investment philosophy? How do you guys manage money with your philosophy and that sort of thing? How do you implement?
We believe in diversification. Basically, we don't ever want to be wrong. We don't have to hit home runs, but we don't want to be wrong. So we want to own a little bit of everything and own the right amount of everything. And it's very easy to be wrong in this field without properly diversifying. So diversification is big. We don't believe that we are the end-all be-all of investment knowledge. In fact, we believe that the world is full of people who are smarter than us, spend more time in that space than us, have more technology and resources available to them in that space than us. And quite frankly, we also don't think that it's the most important thing to our clients, or at least for our clients, it's not. So, yes, performance and returns is always important. But we don't believe that we need to be directly responsible for that. So we work with third-party money managers to deliver sophisticated portfolios to our clients that are models-based and fairly hands-off for us.
Is it more strategic or is it tactical?
I will say that we don't use just one model. So there you can get fairly customized with how you do that. And that could make it a little harder operationally. But at least the investment part, we never have to be the decision maker. We don't have to be holding the bag if things go wrong. We can always fire that person. But yeah, I do think it just depends on the client to an extent.
Okay. So in terms of challenges, obviously you're exploring whether the virtual assistant program with a part-time person, that's one that you're working on. Any other challenges that you're facing at this point in time?
Well, the challenges mostly have probably been around the team, yeah. So I think they say that small businesses' biggest issue is always hiring, firing, and retaining people, and I think that's true for us as well. We had some challenges with going from a sole proprietor, single advisor to a team of advisors and figuring out how that was going to change both operationally and collaboratively, things like that. North Star always staying the same, right?
Yep.
Challenges outside of that, I think I experienced some challenges around what does the business need, in the sense of does it need to change or not? There's a lot of stuff coming at us from all different sources telling us what we need, what it's supposed to be, this, that, and the other. I would take a beat from something that came out of the retreat this year and say that, I want this to be a 100-year business. And kind of projecting where our clients are going, what their needs are going to evolve to, projecting what the industry, where it's headed, and projecting, who we want to be working with, what they're going to need from us. Those are probably some of the biggest challenges, that and keeping up with technology.
Yeah, that's never ending.
Did I mention that I'm not big on technology?
Oh, really? No, I missed that.
Okay, good.
So are you on track to become a part owner?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm letting a secret out of the bag, but that's supposed to happen this year.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
It's probably a little bit later than we both thought it would happen, but not upset about that in any way. It's time,
It,
and still
it,
trying to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. I think we, in the interest of making the transition as smooth as possible, on both of us, it will probably be an earn-out structure. And lucky that it's a family business, and lucky that Karen has a good financial standing that allows her to be able to own her finance and do it like that. But also looking into other things too, because I only plan on doing this once. Although I would be open to doing it more than once if it goes well, but I only plan on doing this once, and so I want to make the most of that process, both for the business and our family, but also for carrying that knowledge and experience forward to our clients. A lot of this business, there's so much information. When I was earlier in my career, I wanted to be an expert on things, and there's just so much. You cannot be an expert on everything. You're lucky if you're dangerously good about most everything. But I really want to make the most of this experience, and be able to take that advanced planning and business planning into the future for our business. So that's what we're working out this year, is how do we start, and then will it change along the way? I'm not sure, but at least we'll have a pathway to run on.
that's fantastic. So I'm going to ask a few quick, fun questions.
Okay.
So use 3 words to describe your talents and strengths.
Engaging, thoughtful, and comforting.
I would agree with that. Yep. All right. Now tell us something surprising that most people don't know about you besides
That
Tennessee.
most people
We all
don't
know that.
know about me. Well, I think a
Yeah.
lot of people found out about me at the last focus that I have tattoos. So
I didn't know that.
I have some tattoos. But no, something that most people don't know about me. I think that most people don't know how sensitive I actually am.
Okay.
And some people have seen it, but I think in the past, a lot of times I have come off more casual and joking and whatever than I actually am. I'm actually a really sensitive, emotional person. And anyone who really gets to know me knows that.
That's good to know. That's a big deal. Last question, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
That is such a hard question, Don. There's so many people in my life that have given me good advice. Every piece of advice that I've ever given to anyone was not something that I came up with myself. It was something that I learned from someone else. I mean, even you, I remember during a monthly consortium briefing, I think there was a war going on or something like that, and you talked about having no bad days. Um, and I try to take that to heart. As bad as it is, it could always be worse. And whatever your problems are, like someone's got it worse than you do. Um, my mother has been just a fountain of advice with how focused she is on the inner work, and on getting the most out of her experience and being really intentional with the life that she's leading. Um, I think there's a lot of influential people in the consortium, Land, Madge, um, senior advisors that have been there since forever. I guess we didn't mention it, but most of the advisors that were founding members of the consortium are almost oddly like extended relatives of mine.
Oh, you're a kid.
Yeah,
We watched you grow up.
I have memories on beaches and all types of things from uh, insurance company trips way back in the day. I think maybe the best advice that I've ever gotten is probably something that multiple people have told me, and it's just that um, whatever you think about the world and what's going on in your life or outside of it, and your place in things, you're exactly where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there.
Like that.
So whatever's coming for you is, if you believe that, then whatever's coming for you is meant for you, and whatever will be or is meant for you will be for you. So just have that confidence, that patience, and that contentment to be able to live in the moment, and enjoy this experience.
Here now.
You only get it once. At least that's what I believe. So if you believe that, then you also, at least in my faith, believe that heaven is here on earth. So make the most of it.
I love it. Daniel, this has been fantastic. I always learn something. I love these conversations. You have great, really a great understanding of the business, the challenges, financial planning. You clearly love it, and it is an incredible profession. But you have really, really excellent observations about things. This is a great conversation, and I want to thank you for taking the time.
I really appreciate that coming from you. That means a lot, Don. So happy to have done it. And if anyone listens to it and any part of it resonates with them, I hope that they reach out to me about it, because this collective experience that we have is really what makes IFG so special. And like you said, there's a lot of people in IFG at this point, and you might not be able to get to know all of them really well if you only see them once a year, but darn near all of them are, if not all of them, are worth knowing really well. And so I don't take that for granted. So thanks for everyone also who listened and comes to the retreat and makes us all better.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Daniel. I'll see you.
Thanks, Don. Take care.
Well, that's it for today's show. Thanks for listening. If you've got something to share, send an email to dpatrick@thebraintrust.net. We want to know what works. Until next time, see ya.
Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Advisory services may be offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, or IFG Advisory LLC, a registered investment advisor. Integrated Financial Group and IFG Advisory LLC are separate entities from LPL Financial. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision.